Hey everybody, this is Paul. Doing a midday update. Markets are currently open. It is 12:14 Central Time on April 1st. Happy April Fools. Gonna do a quick review of March, where things went in March, what I think might influence April, um, and going forward, just any different moves that I might make. Also, just review the pretty stellar performance of March is one way to put it. um, so for March, when I go over here to my historical, you can see um, stimulus plus tax return plus regular paychecks plus just an insane performance in the market. I can illustrate that for you right here in my performance and value graph. Um, so if I go to year to date, and then you look right here, March alone, I was up 7.16%. NASDAQ, clearly, this is the biggest underperformance I've seen in the NASDAQ since I started investing. Um, you probably have to go back a little ways. Um, so, yeah, didn't take much moving rates and reopening trade to pretty much derail the entire NASDAQ story. Um, so, do I think this is going to repeat? No, I don't think that's going to repeat. Um, you kind of like if I kind of bring back the chart a little bit, um, you can kind of see that there's just months that you have to go kind of into a deep dive review of this, but the Nasdaq typically is going to come back because it's made up of some pretty big names that are just really really profitable. Um, what's going on right now? Like what's going on specifically today on April 1st? Um, you have the Johnson and Johnson thing with 15 million doses that are just a complete throw those in the trash because somebody screwed up at a lab that probably needs to be shut down. Um, you have France going back into lockdown because the EU is just incredibly bad at doing this rollout. A lot of this bond buying that you're seeing right here, I would not be shocked if this is EU. A lot of this right here that you see, I would not be shocked if this is like maybe EU or somebody jumping in there. Maybe rebalancing, just people that made a lot of money on a value trade, rebalancing into bonds, doing like, instead of doing like a 90-10 portfolio, they do maybe like an 80-20 portfolio, or some of these guys have really complicated things going on. But so basically, today is just a typical example. A lot of bonds rallying. What's outperforming the best? You could see it happen yesterday too, but you can see it right here. Nasdaq's outperforming. Um, Does that mean that the market thinks that the economy is going to shut down again? No. Um, it doesn't take, it doesn't take much math to figure out where the trajectory is going. You know, there, it's like 3 million doses. That's how many doses we're doing a day. And then, we have 330 million people. So we've already had, I think they've already said they vaccinated most of the people. But the problem is if you look at the coronavirus news, like what's going on with the coronavirus, you have a lot of economies, Michigan, Texas, and Florida that opened up or didn't close at all, and their cases are just kind of through the roof right now. So the market is just kind of, it's like the recovery's happening. It's just I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Um, and then some names have been moving around all day. Like today, Tesla opened up 3% or something like that. And I think even Zoom, if you look at where's Zoom? I looked at this earlier. Well, you got things like Zoom that are up 1.55%. Like maybe that's like people thinking, oh well, France is back in a lockdown, so everybody's going to need Zoom again or something. I don't know where they're at on that. Um, so just looking at the performance for March, looking at the performance for March, basically, I'll go over that first. Pretty stellar. There's no other way to put it. Um, I, I mean, I made more than I've probably made ever trading in the month of March. Um, it's just a ridiculous amount. I mean, if you look at just the sheer values, if you compare it to say March 1st when I came into March 1st, um, bonds I didn't touch at all. They're just doing their thing. These are just dividends actually that pay every month from bonds that went up. Nothing special going on there. They've just been kind of sitting flat like they were supposed to. If you look at the gains in the stock account, just $8,000 minimum barely. Like it's a lot. And some of this is me investing money, like a large amount of the stimulus type things that came through. And then some of it is just basically just straight up that 7% gain, which is if you take 7% of what was in there, if you take 7% of $42,000 that was in there, then, it's a lot. And then I got regular old 401k gains, that kind of thing, because this is tied to the market also. And then the IRA is where a big thing went. So this is where actually a big part of my stimulus went into my retirement account. And then I paid down some debt. So now the big thing, so this is what's a really big thing right here, is this is the dividend number right here. And the only ever time I've been that close on a dividend, I think back here I was more into like Exxon, that type of stuff, things that were higher dividend yield. So I had like a 4% dividend yield, but that's the difference, like a $200 gain in a year. Um, right now I'm at a 3.81% dividend yield. I'm 50% to my target. This is kind of just a target I came up with. I did add something new, so here's my income. This doesn't really tell you much because it's like subtracting. This is my job, and then this is actually the VA, but um, the job one doesn't really tell you too much because it's like subtracting out health insurance, eye insurance, all these different insurances. But that's the general number right there. Subtracting out 401k contributions, that kind of thing. And then this number right here, this new number I added, which kind of makes sense to add this now because I need to start keeping track of it, is basically this number divided by 12. So if I go to my dividends, I'll show you where this is. My estimated number, this right here, this is off a little bit because I had Pepsi and I had Travelers Pay last night. So this is actually off. It takes a data update because it goes out a year. But the general idea is to get all of these to be kind of even. This hasn't updated yet. That hasn't updated yet. That has, weirdly. So the general idea is to get all of these to be basically even. So if I'm going to add positions anywhere, it's going to be in something that would strengthen this off month right here. This is the big month where everybody normally pays, and this is, the off month. And I can easily do that with different things. There's another stock I was looking at that I did own. That Gen X dividend investor, my really big fan of his. He owns this right here. This is Leggett and Platt. It's like an industrial company. They're a little expensive right now for my taste, but they're a very profitable company. So if you notice, they pay in the middle of April. This could be a legitimate throw it right in the middle. If I don't want to, if this is be good middle of the month, kind of in the middle of the month, plus it's on an off month from major things. So I might be adding a position into this pretty soon. I might start doing that next month because I've missed the dividend date for that right now, and it'll give it a chance to hopefully it'll give it a chance to go down a little bit. So let's see what we got here. And then let's see. Yeah, it's just been a lot of gainers. So there's just been a lot of gains for what I've done since the last time I made a video. I think the last time I made a video was a week ago, so 7 days ago. So all of this I've done since the last time I made a video. Contributed a little out of my paycheck, or contributed some out of my paycheck, threw that directly into AT&T. Just two reasons. It pays in April, and then also I wanted to catch the that's another one of my building up my April, or I believe that's April when AT&T pays. But where's my T at? Yeah, see, this is that off month thing I was talking about right here. I consider May to be an off month too. April's kind of my focus, or the 2 months prior kind of thing. But definitely building up a position there. And then where are we at here? It's looking like HBO Max is going to be more like a place where movies might try to actually release big name movies, where it could just be a permanent thing, and then their income's looking way better. There's a few things that they're doing right that I think could seriously boost their stock price. And then here we go, some different things added. Every time I have some money left over, I add a position in the QYLD. This is my first month actually having this pay out. And if you notice right there, paid out 17 on the 30th, which is effectively April 1st for me. Because, like I told you on my last video, there's things that pay out at the end of the month that I might as well count towards the next month. But we can see here that paid out. So I added that. Travelers paid out. Pepsi paid out. And then we have I sold 6 shares in Walgreens. This had a run up yesterday for no particular reason. Just a very big run up. It was like 5%. So I sold 6 shares very quickly to add positions into places that I think will go up even more. So VTRS is one that I added positions in. And this is the company that basically is like, it's basically a generic pharmaceutical company. So they make tons and tons and tons of different generic medications. They've been going down lately, but that's because they were literally just formed and they just kind of have to prove themselves. I think this price is going to go up by a lot. I have a feeling this price is going to go up a lot. They even declared a very low dividend to start out their dividends. And they just did that just to be kind of cautious. I have a feeling they're going to go by a lot. This is a very long-term holding. This isn't even included in this estimated income number right now. So to get that number, you would basically, I think they said it's like 11 cents a share or something like that. So you'd just basically times 102 shares that I have right now, so 11, and then times it by 4. That's an extra $44 a year. So this number right here, that right there, should actually be $44 more, but that's not going to update. It's kind of annoying that it doesn't do that. It doesn't update until they actually pay it, or until they get much closer. So that'll be in June, I believe, when this updates. So we'll have to see how that goes, but I'm going to hold this for a while. As this is more like so AbbVie is more like my brand name medication type thing, like things that they still hold patents on. Johnson and Johnson's kind of a similar thing, but this is more like the generic medicine type thing. I used to hold Mylan way back, like in 2007. I always liked that stock, so that's just one of my hold. Generic medicines are not going anywhere. So, but that's just how the market's doing today. How do I think it's going to do? This right here is clearly there's rallying in the bond market. As long as Europe stays shut down, I can see a lot of Europeans going back into the bond market. I have a feeling April is going to be pretty good for the Nasdaq. Pretty good, because there's no real Federal Reserve news that I know of. You could see this hit 14,000, to be honest with you, which would be just a massive gain. But it's going to be a massive gain in only a very few select stocks. It's basically the same things you see rallying every day. So you're going to see this type of stuff. You're going to see, the Pelotons of the world continue to sell off, but you're going to see like the different chip stocks continue to just do ridiculous. So, just being in value stocks since last week. I mean, even today, I'm catching, the Dow Jones, like value stocks, that kind of stuff is, S&P's hitting a new record. I think going into May, the coronavirus news is going to be pretty ridiculously good, with the heavy reliance on the Moderna and the Pfizer shot right now. And the Pfizer shot is just ridiculous. It's so good against all these different variants. I mean, just today they came out saying that the South African variant, it was very, very, very effective against the South African variant. It still had a 91% effective rate still, and it's been 6 months since they started testing people for it, and it's still 91% effective. I think once you get closer to May, the coronavirus good news is going to be really good. And then hopefully the EU finally gets their crap together. Um, Maybe by then the UK is just like, look, we vaccinated everybody. Here's some extra vaccine for you guys. Here you go. Maybe they finally get their crap together. I don't know what's going on with the EU, but I'm definitely the. I think the reopening trade is going to come back. You can't really fight this. I think the bond market's kind of taking a breather at the moment, maybe for the first few days as people rebalance. But you can't really deny that there's certain things that are coming back really strong. And then you got the news about the infrastructure plan, so that's going to start to come through. Once they start talking about three extra $1 trillion, I mean, you have to sell that debt. This is going to two. I just don't see how that's not going to happen. Maybe 2% is where a lot of people jump out of the market who don't want to be in and get back in, so this stays down. But I think this is going to go up, which is going to hit the NASDAQ, or hit bad companies in the NASDAQ. Overall, it'll recover. The good companies with, like, Microsofts and the Apples of the world will be just fine. So we got to kind of see how it goes. But you got some very, you can just kind of see, just looking at what's up today to kind of get a general idea of what's really driving the market right now. It's Yeah, it's definitely, I wouldn't call it a COVID trade, but it is kind of a COVID trade because you see things like Zoom up, but that's because of the Europeans. Whenever you get bad news over there, it's always the COVID trade that starts to rally, and then who knows where this ends up at the end of the day. I might end up down because when I looked at this earlier, I was down negative 200, and then it bounced around, and now I'm up 129. But by the end of the day, this could be negative. This whole thing could reverse as people take profits. Or some good news might come out, or some bad news might come out, like Tesla's up again. Just different things. So, as it stands right now, any extra money I get will be added right here. I'll put it right here just to even these out. So they'll be added into anything that's going to pay out in July or anything that's going to pay out in August. These prior months to the really big months. So that I want to basically get this month to reflect something similar to this month, and I can easily do that with some very quality name like Walmart. Walmart's going to be around in 30 years. I can promise you that. So things that pay out in these off months. PPL is a utility company. Coke, obviously. I mean, come on, Coke ain't going nowhere. Um, Cisco is another one. More than likely, I would probably add shares into Walmart, or I would add shares into PPL. PPL is a little cheaper, so I added shares there, and it's a higher yield. But I would easily add position in there. For obviously right here, if you got General Dynamics, Verizon, AbbVie. I mean, look at these companies. These are just super high quality names. Caterpillar, just super high quality names that I could easily add positions to. Like Caterpillar, I've made a ton on. Like, that's how much I'm up in Caterpillar, 70%. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. I bought it in July and I just held it. Um, I sold one single share yesterday just to take profits, and that was $230. And that's I can show you where I put that right here. Here's that one single share that I sold, and then I turned around and put it directly into VTRS. The dividend yield on Caterpillar is kind of crap, actually. It's like 1.78%, but VTRS, I expect to eventually have like maybe a 3 or 4% dividend yield. Um, it's going to be kind of close to where Mylan was, I expect. But yeah, we just kind of have to see where it goes. I think maybe the first half of April, maybe the first week or so, you're going to see more bad news. You're not going to see lockdowns. I just don't see any state doing lockdowns ever again in the United States. There's no chance. There's literally no chance. And if anything, if you start to see people talking about lockdowns, that means another stimulus is on the way. That would be more incentive to do another stimulus, another $1 trillion stimulus. So it's like, normally in the market, you would see a lot of people say, sell in May and then just go away for the rest of the year. I can see why they say that kind of stuff because, if you've had just these ridiculous kind of months and you got multi-million-dollar portfolios, I can see why. Like people just kind of like will stop trading for the rest of the year, that kind of stuff, or just put their portfolios on autopilot and just come back at the end of the year or something. But I don't see that happening. Um, I think today's Thursday. When the jobs report comes out tomorrow, the market is open, I believe. So right here, stock options market would be closed. Where's it at? Yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm surprised that the jobs report. Well, so the market won't even be open when the jobs report comes out, which is weird. I'm surprised they're just not releasing it today, but whatever. I guess there's some kind of law that says they have to release it tomorrow. But that jobs report is expected to be somewhere around 1 million. If it beats, that's gonna crush. It's gonna literally crush the COVID trade. I expect the COVID trade to get completely crushed. Like this Zoom trade kind of stuff, like the people that are jumping in the Zoom right now, you're brave. I expect the Zoom trade to get crushed. Um, Nobody I know likes it. They would rather be doing in-person meetings, and I think a lot of people are just kind of sick of it at this point because it's like really forcing a lot of people to work from home for longer and longer hours that don't want to work. So they're just kind of sick of Zoom at the moment. So, but it'll be around. I just don't see it being a 300 and some odd dollar stock in the future. But I don't touch it at all. I don't go near it. So we'll see how it goes. But right now it's a pretty good day. I'll take it. I mean, sitting around enjoying my early holiday. Um, because I have Fridays off, so I get the day off before the holiday. But sitting on my butt, making $146 doing nothing, really, just kind of sitting here watching TV. So let me know what you think. Have any questions about my predictions or that kind of stuff? I'll be happy to answer. I see some people are watching my videos. Just let me know what you think. Have a nice day.